From Dingwall down to Hampton Road, every ground's got tales untold. We can talk in Monday calls. 90 plus says it all.
Hello and welcome to the 6th episode here from the glorious Glasgow here in Scotland. You know what else is glorious? England's coming home.
Has anyone seen England? Jamie O'Hara, Jason Cundy. Can you hear me, Jason Cundy? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Your team 2-1. Liverpool, Harry Kane, King Charles, Jude Bellingham. Can you hear me, Jude Bellingham? Your boys took 1-0. Meeting Sir Geoff Hurst, David Beckham, Piers Morgan, Gabby Agbonlahor. Can you hear me, Gabby Agbonlahor? Your boys took 1 hell of a beating.
They sure did, and that takes me on to last night. England versus Argentina, the second semi-final. We'll cover obviously Spain and France in a few moments. But let's reflect on this, John. The first half, I said in my video last night, the first half was like a battle. There was no football. There was just like constant fouls. There was a stop-start game. Reflect on that first half first, from your point of view.
I love it.
Did you like that second
I
half?
I like it. It's both teams fighting for it. Both teams wanting to try and get ahead in the game. I thought Paredes would have been... I think the substitution, obviously, in the second half that we're not on to yet, which was a very good choice because I feel like he was getting a little bit hot-headed. Seemed like he could have possibly got sent off. Same with Simeone. I thought he was going into some daft challenges.
He was, wasn't he? He was. Obviously, I think he's got his dad mentality.
Oh, yeah. So definitely has a dad mentality.
But yeah, obviously, the first half, if you're into that, that's great. But there's nothing wrong with a wee bit of battle, but there was just no football at all, which is fair.
I think the referee maybe had a little bit too stop-start as well.
Yeah.
I think there was a couple of fouls in there that are like, you don't give them, like, just let the game play.
Yeah. Obviously, the English media kept saying, in commentary, Shearer and stuff was saying, like, you're playing into Argentina's hands, don't let it happen, whatever. But we'll reflect on to the second half.
Wonder how he feels this morning.
Well,
Alan Shearer's probably sitting greeting.
Aye.
Gary Lineker and all.
Well, I watched the Netflix thing before I came over here, and yeah, they're spewing out their guts, which is fantastic.
Absolutely love it.
I love it. Love to hear that, and that's why we're both wearing Scotland tops. I wanted to be honest, we couldn't actually get Argentina tops.
Sold out
everywhere. I was hoping to get an Argentina top, but unfortunately, sold out.
Along the sound that we were 20% Argentinian, to be fair.
So reflecting on to the second half, I thought England started really well the first 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was an out ball, and then Rodgers crossed in. Anthony Gordon scored.
I think it's great. Like that's what they needed to do. You seen it in the first half. There wasn't a lot of play down the wing. I think Morgan Rodgers is one of the players for England that can open up a game with a cross. That's the way they needed to do it. The fullbacks aren't the strongest. Obviously, Tagliafico and was it Montiel? Was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
But the both of them aren't strong enough. If you went and had a go at them, I think one of the big things that I seen was when you're ahead, you should have been bringing on some more to have a go. You see, there's a weakness. I had to put Rodgers through the middle in my eyes, and then put Saka out on the right hand side.
Yeah, that brings me on to the next point. Obviously, you're 35 minutes to go. 35, around about 25. Sorry, 25 minutes to go. Around about that, and then you proceed to kind of take off. Anthony Gordon, put Concert on, right? 5 at the back. Now, as I said in my video last night, it worked against Mexico, it works against Norway, but you're playing against the top 4 side. You're actually playing into their hands. 6 defenders on at one point, and you're just inviting, there's no out ball. I think a few pundits said last night, take Kane off, put Rashford through the middle, and it might work. Because Kane was not going to be a striker to get behind defenders.
No chance.
And you're taking your pace off with Gordon being off as well. Really, really absolutely ludicrous from Thomas Tuchel. He was brought in to win this World Cup for England, and he's massively failed. I mean, they would have probably better with Southgate in charge.
Oh yeah, probably. It would have been the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But obviously, Argentina cross after cross. Messi went from the centre into the right wing, got a lot more space, John, didn't he?
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I was looking at. First 20 minutes, he wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
First 20 minutes, I'll give England to their credit. We're on him straight away, 2 or 3 on him, try to stop him from playing the game, and then you sit there and Tuchel decides, right, we'll bring on Dan Burn, we'll bring on Konsa,
Big Dan Burn.
We'll shut it down. You can't shut it down. You cannot, especially the talent that Argentina have. Argentina then go on to bring on DePaul, changes the game.
Yeah, Martinez.
Bringing on Martinez, who
Yeah.
obviously gets the winning goal, and
Yeah.
then I think the change that most improved it was Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah,
Going up the left-hand side, he was brilliant.
That was obviously for Pedres.
Yeah.
He came off. That was a great sub. And someone else
a
mentioned that to me
fantastic shot.
today, actually, which is a sub I actually forgot about. And
And
that kind of changed.
Jamie O'Hara.
Oh.
Think we should sack him? Think you should sack him? Go on then. Go on.
Sack him!
You
Sack
do
him!
it. Sack him! Sack him! Sack him!
I love it. I love it. But obviously, yeah, that sub changed. Now, there was warning signs. Fernandes hits a shot. Pickford obviously tips it over. There was signs that this Fernandes was going to keep continuously do it. And what a strike that was. Fernandes, obviously, unbelievable strike. There was warning signs, like I said. And, yeah, some of that goal, John.
Absolute limbs.
Limbs ahoy.
Genuinely, I think a couple of set plays, I actually watched it. I thought it was really smart what they'd done. It was that constant corner, pass it out that way, pass it back to Messi. Messi puts the ball in.
Yeah.
And then they changed it up at that moment, passed the ball to Messi instead of whipping it in. Finds Enzo Fernandez in the edge of the box and can't take anything away from the finish. I seen something earlier. Jude Bellingham was shouting at Pickford saying it was down the middle. I don't know how he thinks it's down the middle when it's tucked into the corner.
Yeah.
I think it's a tremendous finish.
Unbelievable strike.
I mean, had one in the first half that, oh my goodness, it was nearly right into the top corner.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, right.
as you said, there was warning signs the whole game that there was going to be a goal from Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously, it was wave after wave, and you're thinking, right, the best thing you can hope for is is get extra time.
Yeah.
But obviously they shoved Rashford on. They brought on I can't remember who else. Tony, yes.
Tony, yeah.
Obviously, again, it was far too late. They've kind of expected this to work against Argentina, who are good with the ball, much better than Mexico and Norway are.
No, yeah.
And they've had England and Argentina have ran the luck, and Argentina that's the best I've seen Argentina play that second half. Obviously went to Messi cross in, Martinez, unbelievable header. Now, if you've got 6 defenders on, you've got Dan Burn, you've got height in that defence.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Argentina shouldn't get that header.
I
They're a bigger
think
team than Argentina.
it was cross.
Was it? Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I think Dan Burn was at the front post.
Going to say again, Big Dan Burn.
Big Dan Burn was at the back. So then, side joke now, by the way.
Yeah, Big Dan Burn.
If you watched last episode, you understand. So it was one of them that he was at the front post, and then it was just the intelligence of Messi to see that Lautaro's coming in at that back post and knowing where Dan Burn is to get it over him, and that it shows the guy's class. Like he's 39 years old, 2 assists in a semi-final. He's had a goal contribution in every game he's played in this competition.
Now he's ahead of Mbappe because of the assists.
He's just he's frightening. He's still frightening.
And you know what's kind of really bizarre? Like a lot of people wrote him off before this World Cup, saying he's too old. And you know what? He's done this. He's done that to every single fucker. And he's been unbelievable in this tournament. And you know what? It's going to be so sad not to witness him again in 4 years' time, because obviously he'll be retired by then. He is incredible.
Listen, I don't know.
I can't see that.
Box a bit of football.
I know.
But I've got a wee message for any England fans that are watching, because we know what you're going to say. Where does Scotland come?
Yeah.
We ended up with the same price you did. Absolutely fucking nothing. So you just stick to that. It's what is it, 60 years of hut? So instead of saying it's coming home, let me guess, you'll say we won it in 66. No one cares. There's actually a stat. We're actually the last national team to actually win a trophy. So know your place.
So obviously that's the Wednesday. We wanted to really cover up what we've done for the intro. So let's move on to Tuesday semi-final, Spain against France. I'll be honest, I thought France were the favourites.
Oh, yeah.
Spain, from start to finish, absolutely dominated it. See Rodri in midfield, he was unbelievable. Now you know why he won that Ballon d'Or. He's absolutely incredible, Rodri.
Yeah, he's top class. I'd like to give a little bit of a shout to Pedro Porro.
He's been excellent.
I thought he was phenomenal. I thought they were really, really good. I mean, I think the keeper in Simon only had one save to make, maybe. And how there's a bit of an argument of how Mbappe doesn't get sent off. I think he's went in with a fist.
Don't start with this conspiracy. I've had enough with Argentina. No, don't start one.
I'm not going to start one. But
don't start that.
Here's the thing. It's that typical thing of Mbappe. I think the ego will get the best of them now. Do I think they'll go and beat England in the third and fourth place? I mean,
Yeah, I think they
without a doubt.
It'll be. I think England will give. I think England will start to play players who's not had much minutes. I
Yeah.
don't think they're interested in
Yeah, I
it, to
don't
be
think
honest
they
with you.
care.
But France, Mbappe will want to be golden boot, so he'll want to play.
Oh yeah.
So he's guaranteed to play. I think France will be too strong, but it is. I don't care what you say. The third, fourth playoffs is a waste of time for me. It's just it's a waste of a match.
I actually kind of like it, but
Do
I
you?
only like
I'm not
it.
a fan.
I only like it is because England are going to end up going, "Oh, we'll finish third place and they'll finish fourth."
Fair
I
enough.
think it'll be quite funny. They'll be like, "Oh, we might win a wee wooden
Wooden
now."
spoon.
But might as well not win a wooden spoon.
But obviously Spain took the lead from I can't say his name. You can say-
Yarfabal.
There we go. I can never get his name right.
No, Yarfabal penalty.
And,
won
it
by
was a
Lamine
penalty.
Yamal.
Yeah, Lamine Yamal. What's your thoughts? It could have been seen as a handball, but it was obviously looked
The
at by
handball happens after the foul. I've watched
Right.
it back a couple
Okay.
of times. I think it's fantastic the way he knows that Digne is there. It's just brilliant. It shows the speed that obviously we discussed last week. He's not really been doing anything, and that's what I mentioned. It was the little things he does in games that causes these things, and I thought he was absolutely tremendous against France, and just that the speed that he goes to get in, try and win the ball, and wins the penalty for his team.
Yeah, he did. It was like you've obviously seen it more. I thought it could have been a handball, but VAR's obviously checked it, and there was a penalty. So great finish. He's got 5 goals for the tournament. He's had a good tournament up front. This is where Spain, you're thinking, right, okay, they've taken the lead. France are going to come out guns blazing, but it never happened. Spain are controlling that midfield. They were just pinging it. Absolutely superb. And France never get in the game. You've got Mbappe, you've got Dembele, you've got Elise. They never come into this game at all.
Locked them down.
And obviously the second goal, I think, is world class. Really world class. And it almost went to Porro, and Porro scored.
It's a brilliant football move.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's a typical
1-2,
Spain way. It's
it's-
a typical tiki-taka. And the start that goes on now is
Where's that Spain been the whole tournament?
they've been there. There has been, but at the
Spells.
same time, there's
But-
been spells of it.
Yeah.
But that whole game was what the Spain that everyone was thinking was going to turn up at this World Cup.
But they're now
And
to get the job done.
It now continues this trend, though, of the team to win the World Cup is managed by a manager of the same country.
Well, there we go. That brings in the debate about the German managing an English team.
I mean,
It could be.
I don't want to mention it, but English fans did. I believe it was the Falklands they were mentioning.
Oh God, we're not going to.
I'm not going to get into it, but I will just say,
again.
yes, I'm mentioning the Falklands. Your manager's German. Maybe you should look at what your fans are singing about Germans.
Yeah, fair play. But there was obviously a goal that was disallowed. It was another brilliant play. Lamine Yamal, it was offside. It was another unbelievable move. But Spain just controlled that full 90 minutes or 90 plus minutes. There's a wee plug there for the podcast.
90 plus.
90 plus, yep. But it was just an incredible match. That's the Spain I expected. But they know how to win, like I said earlier on. So, John, just sum up. Spain, Argentina, I'm going to give them my thoughts. Spain, I think, will win it. However, we know Argentina are never, ever out of games. And that's what puts me in 50-50 in this match. I've been debating it all day before I came along here to do this with you. But my money is, I'm going to be honest, I think Spain will win it. But I think it'll go, I think, here's a result. I think it'll be 3-2 Spain in extra time. There you go.
I would love to see the wee man get his
I know.
second in a row.
Everyone wants it.
Everyone does want
But if
it.
Spain wins, I get my money. I've got a bet on.
Oh, well, there you go. He's got a bet on.
That's why
We do not promote betting, by the way.
No, we don't.
I don't know, because I've got a tub of Argentinian Pringles in there. You know, that was just for last night. I tried to ask everywhere for anything Argentinian. Remember that Pringles have got the countries on them, so I tried to find the Argentinian ones. So, Viva Argentina. But I don't know. I think Spain, in terms
If
of
Spain do what
overall,
they done to France.
I'm going to go rogue.
Okay.
I'm going to say it could go to penalties,
And who wins?
and I think it's going to be Argentina.
Fair enough. Even though Messi's shit at
But
penalties.
I don't want to say that, because as you said, I'm 50-50.
Oh, so
If
hard.
I'm going to talk,
It's the final everyone wants.
I think it depends how the defence is doing today.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think Spain's defence is 10 times better than 10
definitely.
times better. So I'm on the fence. I want to say Argentina. I want to say Spain, but I'm gonna say it could go to Argentina.
Right. You change your
The
mind.
fairy
You
tale.
change your mind so many
The
times.
fairy tale is the fairy tale.
So I'm going to go. So just to confirm, I'm going to go Spain winners, France third. You're going to go Argentina,
Argentina winners,
and
France
France.
third, yeah.
Right. So mark that down. Give us your thoughts. Who do you think will win it? But so that's obviously the World Cup. We've got 2 more games to go. 102 games played over the US, Canada, Mexico. But let's reflect on why we do this podcast. So let's move on to the Scottish side of things. Obviously, Celtic played on Tuesday night against over in Faro in Algarve. It was a 4-1 defeat. Now, obviously, the first half there was obviously some players missing, of course. They're in World Cup duty. The first 11 would have been probably the kind of expected strong 11 that he could. Obviously, he did make a few changes. Second half, he gave like Doolan a shot and our youngsters. Duran obviously came on. Now, my question to you is, 2 questions I've got for you. How is it important for a striker to get you off the mark quicker when you go to a new club? And my second question for you: are you worried?
First one, yeah. It doesn't matter whether it's pre-season or not. They always get your goal. You want to get that goal as soon as possible, whether it's a friendly or whether it's a league match, a cup match. You want to go in with confidence. You want to be confident going into the season. In terms of being worried, I did read something earlier on that Martin O'Neill has went to the board in an AGM and said the squad is not good enough.
Yeah, that's obvious.
I think a lot of Celtic fans would agree. I mean, I was one of them that was very, very surprised that we even won the league last season, but I think it's going to be one of them we do need to strengthen. And if we don't strengthen, and we don't strengthen quickly with these Champions League qualifiers coming up, it's going to be a rocky horse at Celtic Park once again.
Yeah, and obviously Celtic's got a friendly against Middlesbrough this Saturday. You going to that game or not?
No,
you don't do friendlies.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be paying them like £25 to go and watch a friendly when I paid like
no more pennies.
I paid £600 odd for my season ticket.
Yeah,
so I am alright.
No, that's fair enough. I'm the same when it comes to Rangers friendlies. They obviously play AC Milan, which we'll cover. We'll cover obviously Middlesbrough game is next week when we do the next one. So. Moving on to Rangers, Rangers side of things, there could be a potential 6th signing called. He actually is one of the captains for Partizan, I believe. His name is Vanja Dragovic or something like that.
I think it's Vanja Dragovic. Dragojevic.
Yeah, so he's 20-year-old. He's a captain. Now that brings me on to the point. I think I'm liking again this potential captain of a previous club. And I think that's exactly where the mentality of the leaders. We've already brought in Dan Neil, former Sunderland captain, Shanklin, former Hearts captain. You know what I mean? Ross McCrory, who knows he was a Bristol City captain, I'm sure. We're bringing in leaders and mentality players. And the thing is, I think McInnes knows this, and I think he's bringing in, if this he linked about 4 million potentially, or two between that, another captain of a previous club, and he's a midfielder. That is it. What's your thoughts on that?
You need leaders. It's worrying to see how many leaders you are, but at the same time, I can't really tell you until I see the season starting, because you see it all the time. The players come in and they're like, oh, this guy's got a lot of potential, or this guy's been really good, this guy's this guy's that, and that's for both clubs.
Yeah.
And then they come to Scotland and they don't like the game. It depends on how they can deal with the Scottish football.
But for a young boy at 20-year-old to be a captain, it's like that shows he's got the mentality.
But it's one of them it's always the hard thing of, can you fit in with Scottish football? Because up here, and like certain people that are coming in, they get time to sit in the ball. Like, can I mention Godfrey for a second?
Yeah.
Like, you have time to sit on the ball. In Scotland, you don't get time to do nothing.
Yeah.
If you one wrong move, I wouldn't. You will agree with me on this one. Joey Barton was one of them.
Yeah, couldn't do it.
Come up here, stroll Scottish football.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Greg Taylor taught him one when he was at Kilmarnock.
Probably.
It's one of them of, you need to, if you can, yes, it's all good being a captain. The ones I will agree will be good. Shankland knows the league, he knows the intensity. It's whether they can get up to the intensity of our league.
Well, we shall see. Obviously, Rangers have got a friendly next Tuesday at Ibrox against St Etienne. I think there's another close one that happens tomorrow, I think. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But obviously, there's a couple of friendlies coming up. The qualifiers is coming up. We'll talk about the qualifiers in a few moments. But moving on to the Hearts side of things, obviously, they've got a friendly tomorrow night at Tynecastle. They've got Real Vallecano from Spain. But I think the one that kind of sticks out to me is, obviously, they play that on Friday night, and then on Tuesday they go to Austria to play Sturm Graz. My question is, obviously Hearts have lost a lot of players, a lot of good players that got them into that second place last season. And that's why they're in the Champions League qualifiers compared to Rangers, which is a big, big plus. Obviously, we talked about the 8-9 players they're bringing in, and we don't know how they're going to gel, analytics, whatever. But how banana skin are these qualifiers? Obviously, Celtic never got it last year, and it's how do you feel like it might be like Stumpgrass are not a bad side, but how difficult is it as qualifiers to get for Hearts?
So I think that's why the Vallecano games are a team that made it to the final of the Conference League last season. That's why that Vallecano game's there, to try and get a little bit of experience, of how you're going to play, how you can fend, like how you can deal with that pressure of playing a team who are going to come at you. I think that is the main reason for it. Sturmgrass are a very good side. They can be a very good side. They will punish when they need to punish, and Celtic have struggled in the past with them. Rangers have struggled in the past with them, and this is probably when we were better than what we are now. And I'm sorry to any Hearts fans watching, unless you're you and Cameron, then I don't care. But they will get embarrassed, I believe. I think they're going to get embarrassed. They'll know that there's levels to this game. And you need to be a good couple levels up from what you are to be able to start doing qualifiers in the Champions League.
I think the advantage is they've obviously got their away tie first. If they can get, like, obviously we know away goals doesn't count, but if they can get like a 1-0 defeat, 1 each or whatever, nothing each, take that back to Tynecastle. We both know what Tynecastle can be like, especially with how close the fans are to the pitch. It's a great atmosphere. It's one of my favourite Scottish away grounds at Tynecastle. So if they get a decent result, it could be an advantage. The second leg is at Tynecastle. Would you agree?
I agree with that, yeah. Tynecastle can be a hard place to go. So you've seen it for both Celtic and Rangers last season. The fans were right behind them, but how the question now goes of, you've not got McInnes, you've not got Shankland, you've not got Devlin. One will come up to in a minute. You've not got Craig Gordon, you've lost Sander Clark, you've lost, you could probably lose Swallow at some point because he was a great keeper last season. It's one of them of how are the fans going to react.
Braga might go as well.
Last season. What happened with it, they were on a high, they were first all season, then in that last day getting dragged away from them. They need to bounce back, and they need to bounce back in the right way. Getting a result against a very good Sturmgrass team, that's a good way to start.
Yep, absolutely. Obviously, they've had a couple of friendlies. The one that sticks out, they get beat by Livingston 2-1, but obviously Braga did start.
It was a testimonial.
Yeah, it was a testimonial, but it'll be very interesting. How do you see Hearts doing across in Australia? Austria, not Australia, Austria. There's no going outside the world, my bad. But in regards to how do you see the first leg going against Sturmgrass?
It's going to be tough. It is. I think it's going to finish 3-0 Sturmgrass.
So you think the tie could be over?
The tie could be over. I'm one of the people that always want Scottish sides to do well in Europe. I would love to see Hearts get a result. I really would. Surprisingly, everyone knows that I'm the Celtic fan here.
Really?
I would even love to see Rangers get a result in Europe. You know,
until they get to the final and get beat.
Until they get to.
Until there you go. It's a bit like England. We're okay with England getting to the final and then
getting pumped
down.
But no, I do want Hearts to do well. Like, obviously we'll touch on Hibs, we'll touch on Motherwell, but it's one of them you need to kickstart. You need to show what you've got. Do I think they will? No. I think it will be 3-0 Sturmgrass.
But they obviously have the parachute, like they can go into the Europa League and then they've got the conference. So they're guaranteed at least European football up to Christmas, I believe. I believe they do. Don't quote me on that, I'm sure they do. I think that's obviously a blessing for them. So they will have at least until December, potentially Conference League. But
good money as well, though.
Good money as well, yeah. And that's the thing is, like, qualifiers can be very much important, and that's why I think you're right. With the game tomorrow night, it'll be interesting to see how they come out on top, and it'll be interesting to see how the new signings kind of gel in to the squad.
To gel in quite
it's because obviously they'll get that on Friday night, then they travel to Austria, and then they've got the game on Tuesday night. So yeah, I think Hearts actually. I don't think it'll be 3-0 pumping. I really don't. I personally think that they'll win. I think Sturmgrass will beat them over there, but I think it'll be 2-0. I don't think it'll be 3. I think 2-0, but I think Sturmgrass over the 2 legs will probably advance, I think, unfortunately. But I hope, likewise, I do like to see Scottish clubs doing really well in Europe, like you, John. And I hope Hearts get the right result and at least take it back to Tynecastle where the fans we know behind them. We've seen it last season. The place was bouncing last night. Bouncing last season, should I say. It was incredible, like the build up towards the end of the season. So if they can get that place rocking, then Suntgrass might, they're a good team, but
They might not be used to it.
you might not be used to like what the atmosphere is at Tynecastle. So I do wish Hearts all the best. Hibs, before we move on, this morning Craig Gordon, 43-year-old, announced his retirement. Just looking back in his career, he's obviously had a lot of injuries. But the thing is, what a goalkeeper he is throughout the years. Obviously began at Hearts. He was one of the most expensive goalkeepers to go to Sunderland for $9 million. And then obviously had a serious injury there. And then he moved to Celtic, which I'll comment, let John comment on his Celtic career. And then obviously, again, he wasn't the Celtic brought in new goalkeepers, and he was, again, I'll get John's opinion, if Celtic should have kept him on, maybe as a number 2 or 3, whatever, but he wasn't getting first team football, and then he moved back to Hearts, where he's obviously played for Scotland, many caps. He obviously got missed out in the Euro 2024. In regards to that, if I remember, he was like
The leg break, was it?
Yeah, well, he missed out because he wasn't picked by Clark.
Yeah.
Obviously, did go to the World Cup. A lot of people debate whether Gordon should have started at the gun. Limited amount of football towards the end. You kind of thought this was his last kind of hoo-ha at the World Cup. Yeah, hurrah, yep. But what a career, John. So just reflecting on, let's look back on his career, 43. So he came through Hearts. He's made I think he's made one of the world-class saves. Remember in the Premiership where he kind of like it was unbelievable saves in the Dundee game last last season where the keeper gets sent off and he came on. They were down to 10 men.
He done brilliantly.
Oh, that saved in the bottom. It was
probably
probably Hearts would have been out the title race well before then if Dundee got a point. He's made incredible saves, but let's reflect on it. Sum up your kind of words for Craig Gordon.
Fantastic keeper. Loved him at Celtic. He was an absolute fan. He was a saviour at points. I used to say that he couldn't really kick a ball, to be fair, and I still agree with that. To be fair, he wasn't really the best at punting the ball at the park, but he was a great servant to the club. Obviously won a good couple of trophies. Sorry to rub that in.
That's okay.
But
stop it.
He did win a lot of trophies for us. He was just a fantastic keeper. Thank you for your service to Celtic, Craig Gordon. I'm also going to mention to dry your eyes a wee bit after your rant about Celtic as well. But I'll forgive that because of everything you've done for Celtic. So thank you for your service, Craig. And you'll always be loved by the Scotland fans.
Oh, 100%. Great career, and I do wish him whatever he gets into next. I do wish him all the very best. Yeah, I think he will. I think he will be probably a coach, but it's unfortunate. I think he's had many injuries over his career, which is a shame. Serious ones when you think about it. But to come back, like I watched his documentary on the BBC, the Icons thing that they do on the Scottish football, and I was touched by his kind of episode because it was like the guy was going to give up, and then Clark said, "Don't worry, we'll give you a World Cup side of things," and he's just battled back, and fair play to him. He's battled extremely well to overcome. I think 2 or 3 serious ones.
I think he broke his leg at Sunderland, I believe,
and again,
and then he broke it again at Hearts.
Yep.
But I heard something of actually it was funnily enough when I was a wee guy. I spoke to Craig Gordon after that game. As you do when you're a kid, you want to see the footballers. And I remember asking him what brought him to Celtic, and
to win things. Was that what he said?
Well, no, he actually mentioned that before he came to Celtic, he was training at Rangers.
The Rangers, okay.
Yeah, he was training at Rangers to get himself back to match fitness, and then he got the call from Celtic, and he just couldn't say no.
Fair enough.
It's always a story that lives with me because I asked him that question as a wee guy. He didn't need to take the time to answer that question.
He's been very good with fans over the years.
Yes, he's been great with fans. He was a great servant to every club he's been at. Obviously, a great servant to Hearts. Hearts fans will miss him. Oh, me as a Celtic fan, I'll miss him as well. But
Scotland fans will as well, because
there's
not much goalkeepers coming through at the moment. Like we know they're not getting much game time.
We've got an English one and go.
Who?
We've got an English one and go.
Fair enough. But no, all the very best from the 90 Plus podcast to Craig Gordon. I do wish him all the best. So let's move on to our rivals, Hibs. They've obviously they have got the Conference League qualifier next Thursday, I believe. They've been drawn against Kosovo's runner-up, Milishva. I don't know much about this team, but I think we should learn a lesson about the World Cup when it comes to Cape Verde and teams that we don't know or nations that we don't know about. So they're obviously runners-up. So I'm guessing that they could be a good outfit. But it is, again, we talked about the banana skins of qualifiers where we always expect the Scottish team when we don't know a team to do well. Hibs are obviously a kind of yo-yo team. They go up and they go down. They kind of always kind of about the top six, but they kind of struggled last season at times.
They make it happen themselves.
Yeah, they do it. And obviously the first leg, again, like Hearts, are away from home and then they come back to Easter Road the following Thursday. How do you think Hibs will do in that tie? I mean, what we know about this club?
Weirdly enough,
They're playing
Hearts. No, Hearts. Sorry,
Hibs.
Sorry, Hibs fans.
Oh gosh.
Hibs are really good in qualifiers, which is really strange to see. Obviously, I think last season they had a really good run.
Yeah.
And then they fell to, I can't remember.
At the top of my head, I can't remember.
But it was one of them that you didn't really expect them to do that well. You didn't expect
the points, the coefficient, yep.
And I think in that one, a lot of Hibs fans might love me for this. I think you will get something away from home. I think you're going to come away with a draw.
1-0.
A 1-0 or a draw. And I think you're going to do it at Easter Road.
Yeah.
So I think that the Hibs will go through. Obviously, I've never heard of the team, so I couldn't tell you. I'm just hoping that that's not a Scottish club does well. But at the same time, with Hibs, they've still got a good outline in the club. David Gray obviously has a point to prove once they start that point very early on. But Europe's the best place to start it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always like the amount of Scottish teams that have to start early. That's why obviously they introduced the Premier Sports Cup to get competitive games, but it doesn't really benefit the teams that are going into Europe because they don't have that competitiveness. Obviously, the early starts, but that's again up to clubs to kind of start pulling their weight in the Europe side of things, get the coefficient up where we can start later on. Obviously, it took an absolute batter in the last few years, with obviously Rangers not qualifying and Celtic not qualifying for certain things. But what I will say, John, is Rangers have contributed more than Celtic. Just put it out there.
That's why we ended up in the group stage. So thanks for being so good in Europe, being shite in the league.
But I do wish, again, like Hibs, I don't know much about this team. It'll be interesting. I will keep an eye on that kind of tie. So I hope Hibs get a result. I hope Hearts get a result. I do wish them the very best in Europe for the two of them. We'll obviously reflect on these ties next week to see how they are, get into the second legs. Whether or not we do a podcast before the Hibs first leg, probably might not be able to preview that kind until afterwards. But all the very best to Hibs as well, as much as Hearts. Obviously today it broke about Elliot Watt. Let's move on to Motherwell's side of things. Last season, still coming back to haunt clubs, and they were obviously doing an investigation about the handball situation. Whether it was a handball or not, obviously it's divided so many people in Scotland, as we know. And they announced like a 4-match ban for Elliot Watt. He's obviously made comments. McInnes's case is still going to come up as well. I believe they're still investigating that, so it'll be very interesting. But my question to you, John, is first off, let's reflect on it. I think I know your answer. Was it a handball?
Yes.
Right, so
people are saying you don't get distance on it. It's a load of nonsense. It is a handball. The referee's seen enough. It's one of them that's put a dampener on the whole season. If Celtic had got a penalty for a player getting crunched, there would be no argument about it. Well, there would obviously be the other half of Glasgow that would obviously probably go typical Celtic get a penalty again, just like we would do. We would go typical Rangers get a penalty again. Obviously, we used to sing penalty.
But over the last number of years, it's been more penalty Celtic recently.
Yeah, true. John Beaton, if you're watching, love you very much. But it's just you can't say stuff about the referees and not expect to get a ban, whether you're Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Hibs, Motherwell, Dundee, or St Mirren. You're getting a ban if you're saying something about the referees. It's just simple as that. You've seen what happened after it. John Beaton's life was in danger.
Yeah.
Because of people.
Oh yeah, but that's something I don't condone. Is like for referees to get their address posted on social media. Absolutely not.
And that obviously.
At the end of the day, we all know what VAR's like. VAR is not. I don't think it's equipped for Scottish football yet. Obviously, it's the World Cup's got it wrong, English Premiership get it wrong. VAR's supposed to be simple, but it's made out to be this complicated thing where I think VAR should be absolutely simplified, and we're making an arse of it, I think, personally.
I'm going to be honest, I would actually love to see English referees in Scotland, in Scottish football. It takes
But they get it wrong as well.
but that's the thing. If they're getting it wrong, they're getting it wrong because they're a shite referee. The thing that goes on in Scotland is,
But you get associations down there as well.
but obviously our referees aren't full time.
But the problem is, unfortunately, if you're going to get English referees or foreign referees, they're going to be underpaid. You get more money elsewhere.
It's just one of the things that there's always things that come out, like John Beaton being a Rangers fan, Willie Collin being a Celtic fan. Yes, and what if they're wanting to be a referee? They should learn how to be impartial. If you can't be impartial, don't be a referee. Dodgy decisions. I'm keeping that in, by the way. Dodgy decisions happen everywhere, but every team. It's not just Celtic and Rangers that get the dodgy decisions all the time. I'm one that calls it out a lot, but that's because at the end of the day, if I'm watching Celtic play and then the next day Rangers are playing, I'm going to want to know what the result is. Just like Rangers fans are wanting to know what our result is, because we want to see what's happening in the league.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, even reflecting, I know you're saying about both old firm teams check each other out's results, or whatever. Even the players back in the day when it was very tight between the title, we always looked out for Celtic Rangers result. Even the players done that back in the day.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And that where the title was a lot more closer. Obviously, it was close last season, but it's not been for the last 4 years prior to it, whatever. But like players do look out for the results back in the day, so there's nothing wrong with that. I don't see it, but. Let's revert back to the four-match.
The format. Let's get back to
the four-match ban. Do you think that's adequate, or do you think it should have been more? What's your thoughts?
4 matches is fine. If anything, I'd maybe give him what a red card would be if you got too many. Give him a 3-match ban. I think that'll come at McInnes as well. McInnes had literally.
I think it could be. I think you actually could get more. I think they're going to hammer the book at him.
I think
I'm going for 6 or something.
I was going to say. I think in that case, it's a bigger thing that he's used. He's turned around and said that it's absolutely disgusting. The referees are disgusting, pretty much.
Yeah, I think it'll be worse.
It's one of them that you can't. It doesn't matter who you are. You can't say that. The pundits saying that. That's fair enough. But they're not going to turn around to the pundits and go, by the way, you're banned.
Who gets the fine? Is it Hearts or Rangers? Because Rangers manager now.
I think. Yeah, sure. I think Hearts could get a fine. I think Hearts will get the fine. But I think that's the way it should be. If Rangers get the fine, that is a disgrace.
Yeah,
that is shocking because he was not the Rangers manager at the point.
Yeah.
Yes, should McInnes be banned for a couple of games? Yes.
So how many matches do you think McInnes will get?
5.
5, right?
I think it should be. It's worse than Elliot Watson. He's got a 4-game ban.
Yeah.
Which I think in its own right is stupid. It's really really stupid. But no, a 3-game ban should have done for that. But is it deserved? Yes, it is. Can't come out and criticise referees. You are going to get banned.
No, absolutely. Well, that kind of reflects the first part of the 90 Plus podcast, episode 6. When we do come back, we'll go through the latest transfers from the last podcast up until today. We'll also reflect on the Premier Sports results on Tuesday night and also preview the fixtures coming up this weekend. Thank you very much, guys. We'll be back for part 2. Welcome back to the second part of this episode 6 of the 90 Plus podcast. I've been joined by another special guest again. Pauline's back on it again. Thank you very much for joining us. So in this second part, we're going to cover the latest transfer since the last time we've done the last podcast on Sunday there. So let's reflect on it. So Dundee United have brought in a winger, Maide Margam. It's a nice summer signing. Obviously, we talked about Dundee United like the kind of Euro club at the moment. They obviously get beat in the Premier Sports Cup, which we'll cover in a couple of moments. Jim Goodwin, he's always kind of like a guy that, he's always got a team that he always gets beats off in the lower divisions when it comes to competitions. But this guy's came from the second tier in France. So reflect on Dundee United for me. I mean, so far they've obviously won 1-0 last minute penalty, and then they get beat at the weekend, which we'll cover. But reflect on Dundee United so far, John.
It's going to be a bad season, I think. They look like they're struggling. I mean, only winning 1-0 in the first game week. It took a penalty to get through. It's one of them. I think they will. Again, it's really these signings need to gel in. And Never seen the guy play, but if he wants to make an impact, he needs to start fast.
Yeah. And Aberdeen brought in Lewis Smith from Livingston. They paid £300,000. So according to sources, he's not back like the Premiership in English Football League. How much is that a coup for Aberdeen, Pauline, that Aberdeen have managed to sign a player that might have rejected the Premiership in English Football League?
Can only be good, I suppose. I've never heard him personally, but doesn't mean he's not a good player. But I think Aberdeen and Dundee United are not the forces they used to be. Dundee United, for me, for the last couple of seasons have been boring. I think when Jim Goodwin was at Aberdeen, he played boring football as well. Great player. He was a great player in his day, but I think Dundee United are going to struggle really badly this season, I think, because, like you said, they won 1-0 and then they get beat. Was it 4-0 they get beat?
No, they get beat 1-0 at the
Was it
weekend,
1-0?
which we'll reflect on.
No,
Yeah,
but did they not get beat last night in the Premiership?
yeah, they get beat Tuesday 1-0. Yeah,
Ah,
as
yeah,
well.
was
But
it 1-0?
yeah, 1-0 as well. Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
Which we'll cover. We'll
I
cover
mean,
soon.
I
Yeah.
think, I don't know, if they don't come out the traps running, they could be in serious trouble. I don't think they'll get relegated, but they might be down there somewhere.
How does that have any resemblance to the Aberdeen signing? You've went for Aberdeen.
Absolutely none, but I'm just talking about...
In general, yeah. I get what
Aye,
you're
I'm
saying.
just talking
Yeah.
about in general, but I don't really know anything about the guy, as I said, so...
But the thing is with Aberdeen's budget, you know, they're obviously one of the big forces when it comes to out with the old firm, but 300k for a
I
Livingston
don't
player.
think they are. I don't think they're the force they once were.
No,
And I
they,
think-
but
I
if you
think if Stephen Robinson can get them going relatively early, and be better starting out the traps than they have been, because last year they replaced their manager again. So it's the same with any team. If you keep changing your manager, you're not really going to get anywhere. But I suppose you need to keep going until you get somebody that's. I don't think we put up much of a challenge at all.
yeah,
I don't know, because I think Robinson's quite a good manager. I think he's a very
I'm not
good
disputing
manager.
that, John, because he done well with St Mirren. But what I'm saying is,
it's a big step from
It is-
St Mirren
it is
to
a big
Aberdeen
step,
for him,
yeah,
you know.
but I
Aberdeen,
think
Aberdeen being such a big club with a brilliant history. In the 80s, when I was watching football, it was between them and Dundee. Them and Dundee United won, well, mostly Aberdeen won all the leagues.
Fergie won it.
Aye.
86. I was born.
But it's definitely not. They're definitely not the force they once were, and I don't know if
No,
not having
so-
Shinnie will make a difference.
I think you always remember that force as it was always kind of Celtic, Rangers, then Aberdeen in a bit there. Obviously, when they had Derek McInnes, they were quite a strong force. I remember, obviously, Rangers in 2016-17. It was third place. No, it was second place, sorry. That was the last time that the two Glasgow clubs were split when they were all in the league. I think it shows, as you said, a fall from grace, kind of. But I think Stephen Robinson has the mentality to get his
I
players
think it's a
running.
lot harder now as well because football back in the 80s was different. Then now there's so many different, all this analytic stuff and all that. It's difficult to really know. I mean, even when I go to games and I watch and I go, what formation are they playing? Because it's hard to tell. But I think if this young boy that they've paid a lot of money for can come out the traps and do a good job, then who knows what will happen.
And moving on to Falkirk. Falkirk have signed like a midfielder, Ben Krauhaus, on loan from Brentford. Obviously, Falkirk do bring in a lot of loanee players. They kind of develop them and then they send them back. But sometimes they sign them on a permanent deal. He seems like he started his career off at Bromley and he got promoted with Bromley. 2 out of 3 seasons. It seems like he's a 21-year-old. But Falkirk's obviously a team. They could beat obviously the weekend. On Tuesday there in the Premier Sports by United, which we'll cover again as we go along. But do you think that's what Falkirk should be looking at? Loanees players. Obviously, they're not got the same budget as like your Aberdeen's, Hearts, Hibs, Celtic, Rangers. So is that the kind of route that Falkirk should go down for the remainder of the summer transfer window?
If it works, it works. Obviously, Brentford have been doing really well in the English Premiership. I believe it was 6th or 7th last season. And it's one of them where Celtic obviously had Benjamin Arthur from Brentford last season, and I thought he was a very good player. So they've signed him from Bromley, so they've seen talent in him, they've seen potential in him. So getting that loan deal over the line could be the change of the season. It could be the possibility that this is a signing that really kicks on in that midfield, and hopefully Falkirk can continue where they left off.
And obviously Motherwell lost the goalkeeper, and they've brought in an own loan goalkeeper from Bournemouth, Alex Pilson. So that's Motherwell's third summer signing. He's actually, he's actually a New Zealand international, so that could be actually a really good goalkeeping signing. Motherwell goalkeeper last year was really good. I forgot his name. Remind me, the Motherwell goalkeeper. Does anyone remember? No.
Can't tell you, but you said that's New Zealand obviously signing.
Yeah,
that's going to be a wee bit of a link with Just, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So Motherwell obviously replacing that goalkeeper that's went down to QPR. New Zealand international. It's not one of the big nations when it comes to the world. But how do you think he'll get on with obviously a new manager involved? It's third summer signing.
I think he's all right. I mean, I think it's all about like we were talking about before. How the team gels with the new players. You need to go. It has to fit. If you've got good defenders in front of you, then don't see an issue. Motherwell did really well last year, so any signings that they bring in will probably be a bonus. They won't get any worse because they did really, really well. Fell away a wee bit at the end, but they're never really going to challenge for titles. I think their best chance of winning any of these cups.
Yep.
So if they can do well in the Premier Cup and all that and do that kind of stuff, and even finish in the top six, that's success for Motherwell.
Yeah, and obviously they've got the European football to look forward to in the next couple of weeks and so forth. I think
a bit of money.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest signing this week was Alan Forrest to Dundee. Now, we've obviously talked about Presley, and I think Dundee have had a really good couple of games in the Premier Sports Cup as well. So a really good start to the season. Forrest was not in McInnes's plans really, so I think he actually could be a really good player at Dundee. I think that's a cracking signing for Presley. What's your thoughts, John?
Well, it's a great signing. I think he's starting to get a little bit older now. Maybe thought, it's not really a player I want to carry forward. Ended up that he didn't even carry forward anyway because he went to Rangers. But he's a good player. He's still got a good bit of talent in him.
Is he better than his brother James?
No, absolutely no chance. No, I don't think if he can. I still think he's a very good player. I mean,
not as good as his brother James.
People say James Forrest is finished and he's 34, 35. But you see the impact that Forrest makes as well. Certain appearances, James obviously, that he still makes the appearances, still makes a big difference in some games. But that's not what Alan Forrest is going to be at Dundee for. He's going to be there to start. He'll want to start every week. He'll want to make an instant impact from the start of the game. And I think he can do that.
Yeah. And talking about Hibs, moving on to Hibs. Hibs have signed a striker, Nathan Lowe, from Stoke City on loan. Obviously, Bowie went to Serie A, which was obviously a blow for Hibs, who probably was a decent player for them. How do you think that a striker that kind of striker now? David Gray's come out with a statement and said he's a natural goal scorer. Hibs have been kind of lacking a kind of, obviously Martin Boyle, he stayed on for another year, but with regards to Hibs, a player like that who, in David Gray's terms, a natural goal scorer, do you think that could benefit Hibs, like when obviously losing Bowie to Serie A?
I think it only can benefit them because you've got to, when you sign a player, you're not going to sign them and hope that they don't do well.
Yeah.
So it can only make them better. But they still got Martin Boyle, so he's probably their best player, I would imagine. I think he is anyway.
Yep. And I don't know if you remember, St Mirren have signed a forward in Sewell, who used to play at Celtic. I don't know if you remember him. He's probably he moved to West Brom back in 2023. He's actually joined St Mirren. That's their sixth kind of summer signing. He is another forward, and obviously they lost they lost a couple of strikers in the summer, St Mirren. So that could be actually a good move for him. Like I say, you probably don't remember him. He's only 20-year-old, to be honest. But
probably one of the unders then.
Again, he's obviously moving back to Scotland, obviously been away for a few seasons. When young boys kind of go down south, we know what happens. They might get lost in the kind of system down there. Do you think it's better for youngsters to wait maybe later on? Do you think England's the right move, or should youngsters kind of start looking abroad, like Italy or whatever? Because obviously our Scottish boys in Italy are doing pretty well. What's your thoughts?
So it's one of them. I can't exactly say moving away harms them. Because look at I can name a couple of players that left Celtic and went on to do great things, like Ben Garendok. who's now at Bournemouth week in, week out. He's an absolutely great player. But I've always really been a thing of, if there's a good player, you should try and keep him. That's whether that's Celtic, Rangers, any of the clubs in the top flight. I think one of the key ones for me was obviously Doak, because when I first saw Doak, he was a great player and he looked good, and I was like, oh, but that's something I'd like to keep. And then obviously the thing now is, well, he came for us for free, we'll sell him on for a profit, and I think that's just the way it is now. It's try and get a profit on the young players, and these will be players that might come in supporting the club. So it's you should try and grow the youth, because I feel like some people do waste away. I mean, a good example again that I can think of is Karamoko Dembele, who was touted to be
the next big thing.
the next big thing, and then goes down to England and kind of his career washes away. And Calvin Ramsey's another from Kilmarnock, I believe.
Yep.
So,
and Pauline obviously talks of an out Rangers, Danilo and Suter. Danilo's obviously linked with Botafogo in Brazil. Suter's obviously linked with a few other clubs down south and I think abroad as well, mostly. Sum up Danilo and Suter's careers at Rangers. What's your thoughts on this two?
It's hard to say, really. For me, Danilo was all right. He was a back part player, I think, a lot of the time. Suter, I think, was solid in the defence when he played, when he wasn't injured. But I think Danilo would probably be better moving on, because he's probably doing the pecking order now that we've signed Shankland. I don't know. I don't think he actually got a fair chance at Rangers, to be fair. But he did okay. I think he did okay.
his dad loved it, didn't he?
Aye, he did
His dad
actually.
absolutely
When
loved
he scored at Easter Road, he went off his nut.
Oh, his dad was he was a good laugh when he was there. But it's like everything else. People move on, and you can't. I find it hard to judge Rangers players now, because we haven't won a trophy or done anything for years, and it's been really bad. I still support my team. I'll always support my team, but I just find it really, the football that we have been watching has been really boring. So for me, it's hard to sum up any players. But Suter is probably one of the more consistent players that we've had over the last few years. He's coming on 30 now, maybe. Derek McInnes doesn't see him long term.
Yeah,
I think
we'll try to get you more youngsters in that.
I think we need a fresh challenge, because we've got too many players that have been there a long time, and they maybe don't get it. I don't know. It's hard. You just don't see it. You can't turn it on one week against a big team and then go to another wee team. A wee team, as you call it, but you know what I mean. It's not one of the big four or the big five, and they go and play. And they just don't. It's like a fear.
I feel like Suter has always been better for Scotland than Rangers. Personally, I think he always really does well for Scotland. I'm surprised he never get any minutes in the World Cup, to be honest with you, because he does perform for Scotland. But Rangers, he was always known to make a lot of mistakes. Like, you're guaranteed at least one or two a game from him. And I know you do make mistakes as professionals, but Suter was cost a lot of our goals last season as well.
I know that. What I'm saying is he's probably the most consistent out of them all.
Yeah.
Well,
we had a lot of loanees. So.
Well, I know.
Would I be right in saying the club that Suter's linked with, one of them is Leicester City?
Yes, Russell Martin. Yep.
Harry.
Yep, so that's right.
Mention that guy's name in the same breath.
Russell Martin.
What a showing up that was.
I know. And just final, before we move on to Premier Sports results and preview side of things, Aberdeen have brought in an experienced goalkeeper, Maris Muller. That was done today, early this morning. A very experienced goalkeeper. He came from the Bundesliga club Wolfsburg. 33-year-old Robinson said he will be a very experienced goalkeeper. Obviously, Mitov made a lot of errors for Aberdeen last season, so obviously he was looking to strengthen there. How do you feel about that signing, about Aberdeen, like going for that kind of experienced goalkeeper like that, and comes from one of the top 5 leagues in Europe?
Well, you need a good goalkeeper. It's always ideal. You can correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe the best goalkeeper I can remember for Aberdeen the past was Joe Lewis, I think it was.
Jim Layton.
I'm talking like in my day. Was Joe Lewis. He's always a good goalkeeper for them. And you always need a good goalie. I mean, you've seen it with a couple of clubs in the past. Like again, I always tend to go back to Celtic because that's the only one I can tell you for last season, and that was the difference of like night and day of Schmeichel and Sinisalo. I mean, Schmeichel was overweight, carrying an injury. I have to respect him because he was always trying to fight, but you also seen you just seen it the difference when it was Sinisalo and goal over Schmeichel, who wasn't at it. There was goals going in that everyone in the stadium would think, "How's that gone in?" And then you've got a keeper that's young, hungry. So it's one of them of can the experience help? Yes, it can, but at the same time, it could also hinder you.
Yep.
Because that the youth, the potential of someone young and hungry that wants to come through and really show their stuff will always drive them. It drives them further than anyone can think.
So that kind of concludes the transfer side of things. So let's reflect on to what's happened on Tuesday night. Obviously, this is the first kind of episode since we've obviously reflected on the ones at the weekend. So let's look at Group A so far. Aberdeen won 2-0 against Borough Rangers on the Premier Sports Group A match against on Tuesday night. Queen's Park won 2-0. Nisbet scored both Aberdeen's goals. One was a penalty, one was obviously towards the end of the second half. How big of a season is it for Kevin Nisbet? He's kind of like, he's always been a striker that I've admired actually when he played for Hibs. He was obviously been down south to Millwall, I believe, and then he's come back up to Aberdeen on loan, and he's obviously made that permanent move. He was around the Scotland setup many years ago, and he was not obviously considered for the World Cup. How big of a season is it for Kevin Nisbet for Aberdeen?
It's a massive season. Because if he's on fire, then that will help them as well. We've really looked a lot at Aberdeen recently.
They've been irrelevant, haven't they?
No, they've not been irrelevant.
Sorry, Dave.
I just think, I don't know. Aberdeen's a hard one. They're either good or they're no good. But Nisbet, I think, last season was very inconsistent. I think they didn't score as many goals as they probably should have. So I think this is a big season in that sense that he has to prove, I think, more than anything, that he's capable of getting a first team jersey. First 11 jersey.
I think he will be probably the one that would start, but it's up to him to prove to that sort of manager, Robinson. Obviously a great start getting a couple of goals. But the game that kind of sticks out this weekend is Aberdeen versus Queen's Park up at Pittodrie. Obviously Queen's Park's won both their games in the Premier Sports Cup. It's obviously on Premier Sports at 5 o'clock. So you've got to think that if Aberdeen wins it, then they'll take control of that group. But if Queen's Park wins, then they could actually top that group, John.
Yeah,
Queen's Park have got form.
They have good form. Well, they have good form. I do think Aberdeen will win. As you mentioned, obviously Nisbet being on fire needs to really be kicking on. If he can even find half the form that he had when he was at Hibs, then Aberdeen could be definitely up there in the 3rd to 6th race. The reason I say that is I think 1st and 2nd will kind of be between the two Glasgow clubs. But obviously, as you said, Queen's Park.
Rangers?
You're an old Glasgow club. They're
They're
the old. You're on the 14-year-old. They've got form. They know what they're doing.
Right, contain yourself, John. Right, get back.
Right, what's next, Paul?
Yep. Are you done?
Yeah.
So
moving on swiftly.
So Group B, we'll talk obviously about Dundee United bringing in a few players there, but like we talked about a couple of minutes ago, they did get beat 1-0 from Montrose, which was a bit of an upset. As we know, Goodman's not done like a few upsets with regards to Darville. I think he was the manager of Aberdeen. He said he obviously when his first game at Dundee United, they get beaten in the Premier Sports Cup a number of years back. So he's known to have a wee kind of thing where he always gets beat off a lower Scottish club. So then Stirling Albion's won 3-1. So the pressure's already on Goodman already with that. They're all most of the teams, Stirling Albion, are both Montrose and Dundee United, are all on 3 points. But the difference is Dundee United have played 2 games already, and they're at home to Arbroath on Saturday night. Again on Premier Sports, of course. How important is that game? Dundee United, I think, need 3 points if they are really seriously want to get out this Premier Sports Cup group. Pauline?
I think it's a must-win game for them. If they don't win that, I think he could be in trouble before the season even starts. Because if
Yeah.
they don't get out their group and qualify for the later stages, I think he's going to struggle. Like I said, he's no. I don't know if it's maybe the players that don't really have faith in him. I don't know, or it's maybe just his style of play. Who knows? But there's always giant killing in cups. It doesn't really
Of
matter
course.
what it is. There's always a giant killing somewhere.
And if Dundee United were to not get through that group, do you see like getting into that first week of the Premiership? He's under pressure, Goodwin, 100%, isn't he?
Yeah, he needs to get off to a good start in the league if he doesn't get through, or else it could be the chop, it could be the axe, it could be gone. But I just don't see it. I think if they need to start kicking on before the season starts, or else they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. And moving on to Group C, Cove Rangers beat East Kilbride 3-2. We obviously praised East Kilbride in the last podcast how well they played against Dunfermline. So that was a bit of an upset. I watched the highlights and I was shocked at how poor East Kilbride were. I mean, I praised them in the last podcast, but I suppose again, the cup upset can happen.
It's the magic of the cup.
Yeah, magic of the cup. But Dunfermline obviously recovered from the 3-0 defeat, winning 4-1 at home to Dumbarton. Very tight group because, like I said in the last group, a lot of like St Mirren, East Kilbride, Cove Rangers, and Dunfermline all on 3 points. And then you've got the games this weekend. You've got like Cove Rangers versus St Mirren away up at Cove Rangers. So, Pauline, obviously with that result against East Kilbride, that's going to give them Cove Rangers a massive confidence against a St Mirren team who almost got relegated last year. What's your thoughts?
I think it would. I think it would give them a lot of confidence, and especially with them being at home as well. But you would expect a team like St Mirren to beat them. You know, that's. I mean, if St Mirren go away any other thoughts their mind, you would think they would be too strong for them. But you never know.
Yeah. And moving on to Group D, we've obviously got Dundee won 5-0 against Annan. Very convincing performance away from home. I think Riley scored 2 goals. Really two good goals. Charlie Riley. He's actually had a good start to the season, I believe. Sam Murray scored as well. Bevan scored as well as so they kind of convincingly won away from home, and Clyde beat Ergie 1-0. So a really good start to the season for Presley, and they're bringing Forest. Obviously that will help them in the long haul moving forward. So really, you said Presley ball in the last episode. It seems to be working. 9 goals in 2 games.
So I've been saying Presley ball. He's always started very strong. I think if they can keep this form going into the season, I believe this. I can't believe the words are even coming out of my mouth that Dundee could be challenging for the top 6. But again, it is the cup. Anything can happen in the cup. Like Celtic could go at first round of any cup, like #United Juniors or something like that, something stupid like that, right? But it is the magic of the cup. It's one of them where you start to see if the good teams can play, or if the wee teams are going to cause the upset. In terms of Dundee, they've shown that the big teams there to show up. The team that's in the Premiership is ready to go. It's ready to fight for everything, and maybe Dundee are the team to watch out for this season.
Yeah, pretty exciting team so far. I mean, you can only play what's in your group, but really exciting start, and Dundee fans should be excited about what Presley's bringing. He's got an experienced player on Alan Forrest, like I said. He's signed him obviously last few days here. So probably moving on to Group E, we've got Livingston won 2-0 away to Brecon, and Partick Thistle winning 4-0 against Forfar. So these two are obviously challenging to get up to our Premiership this year. I think they're the top 2, Livingston and Partick, who will go up. 10 goals in 2 games for Partick Thistle. Obviously, I covered the vlog on Saturday last week at Fairhill. But really, really decent start for Partick Thistle and Mark Wilson. And Livingston, obviously, their main challengers. And obviously, Livingston play Partick Thistle this coming Saturday in the Premier Sports Cup, which will give an indication who might get that early lead in the Championship. Or do you think this will not have a reflection on the season ahead in the Championship?
No, I don't think it'll have a reflection on it, but I think Thistle are the ones to beat this season. I think they've got a really, really good chance of going up automatically this season. Mark Wilson's got them going really well, and Livingston, I don't know if they're strong enough to challenge for the full season. I don't know. I suppose time will tell, but I just feel that Partick Thistle are the ones to beat.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And yeah, I tend to agree. Obviously, Mark Wilson's got them playing some lovely stuff. I think they are actually. I think there's on paper. I think Partick Thistle look stronger than Livingston, even though the team that's came down, Livingston obviously. Group F, John. Moving on to East Fife beat Morton 2-0. Now we talked about Morton in the last episode about how much of a difficult season, and it's continued in the Premier Sports Cup after the first getting beat off Linlithgow Rose. So they're really in serious trouble. And we talked about St Johnstone. They won 2-0 against Linlithgow Rose. Obviously, St Johnstone's just came up, but let's focus on Morton. I think first off, that's 2 defeats. Morton fans must be really concerned about the season ahead in the Championship.
I'm sorry, Morton fans, but if this is going to continue, to take the words of Steve Clark, bye Morton, because it's not good enough from a Morton standpoint. It's not going to be good enough going into the season. If you're going to continue to do that, then off you go. Didn't really go when you go, because as you said, there's teams that are going to be hungry. There'll be teams that have been doing there in that battle. Morton, one of them. This is where we should have started to see them try to fight, trying to prove a point that they're going to survive this season.
I think since Dougie Emery left, they've struggled.
Yeah, well, he lost his kid, didn't he? Which
Aye.
was a real shame. And then he's obviously left him, which is understandable. But yeah, so Morton just seems to be declining every week. I don't know what's going on down there. But they obviously play St Johnstone next, and that could be 3 defeats because St Johnstone, obviously, new Premiership side coming up. Expect them to win at home to Morton, surely.
Should we just call them out then? I think they're out.
Aye,
Nah, I think they're out. St Johnstone, obviously a 2-0 it's a good start. They need, I think if they even want to have a chance of staying up, they need to start very quickly.
Yeah. And just moving on to Group G, Pauline, a bit of a shock, really. Ayr United beating Falk at 1-0, or can we see it as a shock? But Edinburgh City winning 2-0 against Alloa. Falkirk's not in action this weekend, so a massive game coming up next Tuesday away to Alloa. With obviously Alloa bottom of the table now, Ayr United's going really strong in that group, but that's a cracking win away to go to Falkirk Stadium and winning 1-0. That's a great result for Ayr, isn't it?
That's aye. Everybody has a bad day. It doesn't make Falkirk a bad team. Like I said the last time, they're doing really well. Cup shock again, but I think Falkirk will do well. I think they'll come out of the group.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen earlier on that they've actually just re-signed Leon King.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be a really good signing for United. It's going to help them in these games because obviously he's got that experience of being at Rangers, being in some of these big games for Rangers. It's going to be one of them that he's kind of got that experience in the bigger games, and he can take that and use that.
Do you think Ayr United will be in the playoffs?
I believe so.
I think so.
I
think they're probably behind, your Partick and Livingston. I think they'll be up there. They're definitely top 4.
Well, they were last year and they fell away. I think that's because Scott Brown his job because they kind of fell away.
Yeah, they did.
But aye,
They've had a good start. And especially going to Falkirk, which McGlynn, we know how well they played last season. Great football team to watch. So, but I was pretty pleasantly shocked. But I don't think we can. Ayr United's not a bad wee outfit, to be honest. So moving on to the final group, Kilmarnock drew nothing each against Raith Rovers. They won in penalties, get that extra point, and then Peterhead winning 3-1 away to Elgin City. Obviously, Kilmarnock, you expect them. They've obviously moved to grass pitch. I think that was the question I had in my head. But Pauline, just in regards to, we said that Kilmarnock are going to get used to this grass pitch. Obviously, they got the extra point via the penalty shout. How I think just to sum up, how do you think that Kilmarnock will adapt to grass? They need to adapt it quickly, or do you think this could be a hindrance this season, Kelly?
I think they need to adapt it quickly, which I'm sure they will. But I can't remember if Kelly have got much the same squad as they had last season. But I couldn't imagine it would be hard for them to adapt because they play on grass when they're not on their own pitch. So
yeah, true.
It shouldn't really be too much.
Well, do you think?
Change.
So, just a question to yourself, then, John. Do you think that it could actually benefit the away team going to Rugby Park now that it is grass? There's no advantage anymore.
It really depends. Depends what the other team play on. Like if it's Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Hibs, no, because we've played on a grass pitch for ages. Like we're used to a grass pitch. if it comes to that a lower league side, again, it's a hard one because they could be used to the plastic pitch and stuff like that. It's really dependent on the other team because it depends how quickly they can get used to the grass pitch. I think Neil McCann has a job in his hands to get them used to that grass pitch quickly, because if you don't start quickly, it could be the same as last season for Kilmarnock.
What, down towards the playoffs again?
Towards the
Well,
playoffs
almost,
again,
yeah. So that kind of concludes our kind of previews and results of the Premier Sports Cup. Obviously, there's going to be games this weekend. We'll get friendly matches tomorrow night with Hearts. Celtic have got a friendly on Saturday against Middlesbrough. Rangers are back in action at Ibrox against St Etienne on Tuesday night. We've also got Hearts. Was it Wednesday? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday night, yeah. And then we've obviously got Hearts in the Europa League. Sorry, Champions League, my apologies. Then we've obviously got the Hibs in action in the Conference League as well. So massive matches coming up, which we'll cover in the next episode in reviews. But guys, I really want to thank Pauline again for coming on to cover Jordan. Hopefully you get well soon, Jordan. Also as well, John, my co-host as well. I really appreciate. Continue to like and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and also Instagram and TikTok. We will come back and we'll do a wee quick quiz. Actually, I forgot about that. So we will do a wee quick quiz. Erase that. Wait. Now, so what we'll do, guys, is we're going to take a wee quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to do a topic. So there will be questions for John and Pauline in regards to the 25-26 season in Scotland. There will be 5 questions each. We'll get 10, 5 for Pauline, 5 for John, different questions, and hopefully maybe Pauline can redeem herself that her son knows Rangers more than herself, you know? Here we go.
I think I need to redeem myself.
You need to redeem yourself.
John
You know
probably
what?
knows more about Rangers than me.
That's a fair point.
lot
We're
of
definitely keeping that in. But guys, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Right, so 5 questions about the SPL season 25-26. Then we'll get John out. So 5 questions. We'll start now. Which club won the 25-26 Scottish Premiership?
Celtic.
Okay. You remember the score, yeah? I'll show you this. So 2. Which team finished? Right, I'll start again. Which team finishes runners up after leading the league for much of the season?
Hearts.
Who finishes the Scottish Premiership top goal scorer with 17 league goals?
Lawrence Shankland.
Okay. Which club was relegated from the Scottish Premiership?
Livingston.
Okay. And which club won the 25-26 Scottish Cup?
Celtic.
Okay. Right, John. 5 questions about the season last season, 25-26. Here we go. Which club won the 25-26 Premier Sports Cup?
St Mirren.
Okay. Which 2 clubs qualify for the UEFA Champions League from the Premiership?
Celtic and Hearts.
And what was the highest scoring Scottish Premiership match of 25-26 season?
It was 5-3 with Rangers and Falkirk.
Okay. Which player scored for Hearts before Celtic came back to win the title decided on the final day?
Lawrence Shankland.
Okay. And how many Scottish League titles had Celtic won after clinching the 25-26 Championship?
56.
Okay. So John and Pauline, how do you think you've done?
All right.
I thought I'd got 5 out of 5, but I think I'm
Okay, so Pauline, I can reveal you got 4. John, you get 4.
Bastard.
So guess what? We're going to have a tiebreaker question for the first time in this episodes that we've done. So I'm going with the closest answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So ladies first, we'll go with Pauline, right? So how many goals were scored in the 25-26 Scottish Premiership season? Give me an answer. Throughout the season. How many do you think?
The
Whole season, yeah.
Oh,
It's a good question. I like that one, by the way.
I'll go for 560.
Okay. John, same question.
Is it just the top flight?
Just the top flight, yep.
I'll go 300.
Okay. So, Amy has, sorry, I know you're in this spot. Amy has checked the answer. And guess what? She's going to tell you who wins. On you go, Amy. Your first ever. On you go.
So the answer was actually 591. So
Really?
Mum was
Pauline
obvious-
is the winner!
This top flight
Top
this
flight.
season.
Yep. No, last season. Let's go. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening to episode 6. I want to thank Pauline again, the winner. John, you're shite at this game.
I'm fucking
But
really
anyway,
shit, aye.
thank you very much for listening. Continue to like and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We thank you very much for all the follows and also the likes that you've done throughout the last 6 weeks or 5-6 weeks since we started this. I really do thank you very much for it. As hopefully we can continue to keep this going, please do hit the notification button for any content in the future, and please repost our stuff, because what happens is if you repost it, it means it goes throughout the world and we'll get to the US and all that again, you know what I mean? So anyway, thanks again, Pauline. Thanks again, John. And Jordan, hopefully you feel better soon, and we'll wait and see what happens next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Every ground's got tales untold. Weekend talking Monday calls. 90 plus says it.